Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Chapter 36. Su Bai was very concerned about Shen Qingling's message, and replied while brushing her teeth, details. Immediately, Shen Qingling sent a screenshot of the item attributes. Coordinates of the Enchanted Island. Top-grade black iron. Open a 3-hour teleportation channel to connect to the Enchanted Island after use. There may be unexpected gains, please also pay attention to your own safety. Su Bai spat out the toothpaste spit in his mouth. Really difficult challenge. Enchanted Island. This thing can be seen as hard to come by. Exactly how it came about is not entirely conclusive. The Aborigines of the island world do not know how this thing came. However, judging from the name, it can basically be considered that the island was affected by the magic energy, which caused some special changes. It is like the crystal of magic energy in the monster's body, and it also appears because of the magic energy. It's just that it has been 100 years since humans discovered the island world, and the formation process of the Enchanted Island has not been recorded so far. No magic was found. Therefore, it can only be estimated that these enchanted islands are left over from the previous years. The history of the island world is very long, and even the Aboriginal people here have no specific concept. There are various theories, but 10,000 years is the lowest. For such a long time, it is not surprising that all kinds of strange things have appeared in the island world. For example, the Magic Island. While thinking about it, Shen Qingling's follow-up information also came. The coordinates of this enchanted island are high-grade black iron, and the monsters on the opposite side are basically locked in black iron grade, but the possibility of bronze grade cannot be ruled out. This is just a guess, we don't know what the situation on the other side is, and the situation of each magic island is different. Whether or not to use this thing is up to you to decide. At the same time as the information came, the coordinates of the enchanted island also arrived. Shen Qingling gave the choice to Su Bai. From the appearance, the coordinates of the enchanted island are a black jade butterfly, the size of a palm. It's easy to use, just crush it. The energy contained in it will spurt out, forming a transmission channel. During the duration, you can go back and forth at will. And that's where the danger lies. The user can go back and forth, as can the monster on the opposite side. If you don't have enough strength, it's easy to pit your own island. If the heart of the island is broken, everything is over. Generally speaking, even if a senior island owner obtains the coordinates of the enchanted island, they will not use it easily. Big gains, big risks. But Su Bai decided to challenge. According to the information he found, due to the influence of the magic energy, some special plants will be born on the magic island, which cannot be found on ordinary islands. Scarcity means high value, and this coordinate is high-grade black iron, and most of the monsters on the opposite side are black iron grade. Even if there is a bronze level, it is estimated that there are only 1 or 2, the leaders of those monsters. Ordinary black iron islands can't beat bronze, but Su Bai is not afraid. He has an entry for killing gods, and his basic attributes have been increased tenfold. In terms of attributes alone, it is no longer inferior to the bronze level. Coupled with the Longyun sword and the Gale leather armor, it has the power to fight. Thinking of this, Su Bai decisively sent a message to Shen Qingling, I'm going to take a look. Shen Qingling already had the answer in her heart, but she couldn't help but reply, would you like to ask the superpowers of the Special Affairs team to help? Su Bai naturally declined. His island has too many secrets to allow others to land right now. The main thing is that Su Bai didn't want to reveal his island coordinates. Enchanted Island coordinates can only be opened in the island world. Ask the power users of the Special Affairs team for help, let them teleport to the island first, and then open the teleportation channel. This is unacceptable to Su Bai. At least not yet. Unless he gives the other party a fixed entry, the loyalty is locked at 100. But that makes it more suspicious. Shen Qingling was not surprised by Su Bai's refusal. In the Island World Survival Code, it is included not to disclose the coordinates of the island easily. Now that Su Bai has made a decision, he can only help from a different angle. The power user can't go there, but it's no problem to send some props. Shen Qingling placed a box directly in the trading column and said quickly, this is what I will invest in. When the special plants on your island mature, don't forget to leave some for me. Su Bai was not pretentious. He took the box and replied, Don't worry, I really have something here for you. I got 2 golden lemon trees yesterday. As soon as the information passed, Shen Qingling's reply came. Open black lens bracket, be sure to keep it for me. Close black lens bracket. After a while, another message came. Open black lens bracket, be careful. Close black lens bracket. Su Bai turned off the chat bar, calmed his mind and opened the box given by Shen Qingling, and the heat wave hit his face. Inside are 5 fruits, bright red in color. Exploding fruit. Black iron is the best. This is an extremely explosive fruit, please store it carefully. Grenades. Su Bai immediately closed the box. Good guy. Shen Qingling didn't even remind him. If he opened the box carelessly, I'm afraid that he would die before he was born. But with these 5 bursting fruits, he will be more sure of going to the magic island. This thing kills black iron monsters without any pressure. Even bronze rank will be injured. Leave a few more golden lemons for Shen Qingling next time. Su Bai secretly said, and immediately began to warm up. This time he went to the magic island, and he was going to bring Xiao Shan with him. After killing all the monsters, take the gem cat over, and use its treasure hunting ability to grab a bigger harvest. Perhaps knowing what Su Bai was going to do next, the earth spirits all gathered around and expressed their concerns. Su Bai is very calm. He decided to enchant the island only after he had fully calculated his combat power. You can wait at home, I'll be back soon. Su Bai appeased these little guys and took the jade butterfly to the edge of the island. This is just in case. Even if monsters rush over as soon as the passage is opened, at least it won't cause much damage. Little Dodge hid in his pocket and stuck out half of his head. It's nervous, but not afraid. Su Bai smiled and then crushed the jade butterfly. Boom. The turbulent black mist gushed out from the jade butterfly fragments and quickly condensed together to form an ever-changing transmission channel. Before Su Bai stepped into it, a black figure jumped out of the passage and let out a terrifying roar. This is a monster that looks like a monkey in pitch black. Open black lens bracket, name close black lens bracket, enchanted monkey. Level, black iron advanced. Skills, 1. No fear of pain, 2. Throwing proficient, 3. Strength enhancement. Description, a monkey affected by demonic energy cannot stop its attack unless it is killed. ... Really monkey. Su Bai slashed the enchanted monkey in half with a knife, then took out a popping fruit from the box and threw it into the passage. After waiting for 2 seconds, Su Bai rushed into the passage. Chapter 37. The feeling of crossing the teleportation channel is like crossing a layer of water curtain. Su Bai adapted quickly. After landing, there was no attack. It's not that there are no monsters here, but they are all lying on the ground. The monster waiting at the entrance of the passage never thought of it. What they were waiting for turned out to be a burst fruit. Then he was blasted to the ground and spewed blood. Su Bai glanced around. There are 6 demonized monkeys, and they are already breathing more and less, and they will die quickly if they leave it alone. However, in order to eliminate the hidden danger, Su Bai went up to make up the knife and split their heads one by one. This time, the demonized monkey is dead and can no longer die. After doing this, Su Bai heard a whistling sound approaching. Another monster is rushing over. For demonized monkeys, there are 4. But there are also differences. While they are floating on the branches, they will also pluck the nearby fruit, and then smash Su Bai. The demonized monkey has the ability to throw and enhance the strength. Each of these fruits is like a cannonball, with a sharp air-breaking sound. Su Bai estimates that ordinary steel plates can't stand it. He was wearing the wind leather armor, but he didn't want to try how fierce these fruits were. It must be painful to hit. Su Bai shook his body and started dodging. The Longyan knife in his hand opened his bow from side to side, and flew a few fruits. Fortunately, these fruits are not bursting fruits, otherwise Su Bai would be severely punished. Being beaten without fighting back is not Su Bai's style. While dodging, he is also rushing forward. The demonized monkey is also very tough, and after a few rounds of throwing, jumps down from the tree and prepares to fight Su Bai in close quarters. I don't know where their confidence comes from. Maybe it's because Su Bai's body looks weak. The body of the demonized monkey is a monkey, but under the influence of demonic energy, it has undergone tremendous changes. Everyone has their backs, and it shouldn't be a problem to kill the cow with one punch. In addition, they are dispatched in groups, and they are not afraid of death. The ordinary black iron level island owner is really not an opponent. The fruit was thrown quickly and ruthlessly, almost catching up with the machine gun fire. However, the demonized monkeys also have shortcomings. Their minds are affected by the demonic energy, so they voluntarily give up their long-range attacks, which they are good at, and fight Subai in close combat. That is suicide. In Subai's eyes, the attacks of these demonized monkeys were slow motion, killing the 4 attacking demonized monkeys in an understatement. Yo yo yo. There were shouts in the woods in the distance. Obviously, the demonized monkey also found this human being very difficult and began to shake people. Boom, boom, boom. The dull footsteps sounded, and a giant beast smashed into the tree blocking the road and appeared in Subai's field of vision. Open black lens bracket name close black lens bracket, enchanted iron rhinoceros. Level, black iron top. Skills, 1. No fear of pain 2. Crash 3. Defense enhancement. Description, rhinos affected by magic energy, their charge is unstoppable. This demonized iron skin rhino is simply a walking armored vehicle. It is more than 6 meters long and nearly 3 meters high. The skin on its body is scarred, and it has obviously experienced countless battles. Subai became serious and clenched the Longyan sword tightly. In the face of this big guy's charge, he has to be careful not to overturn. Once hit, absolutely incapacitated. Then you can only wait to die. Rumble. The enchanted iron skin rhino began to charge, increasing the speed to the limit in an instant, rushing forward with an afterimage. The huge rhino horn was aimed at Subai. Subai didn't move, as if shocked by the charge of the demonized rhinoceros. The scarlet eyes of the enchanted rhino held a hint of disdain. That's it. Those monkeys are really getting more and more useless, such a weak human can make them helpless. The speed of enchanted rhino continues to increase. Subai still didn't move. Just as the impact was about to happen, he yelled, "Blitz!" I don't know when the small flash that flew into the air released a dazzling light. The enchanted rhino was blinded on the spot, and was a little flustered, but its charging momentum had already picked up, and it couldn't stop at all. It could only aim at the position of Subai in memory and continue to charge forward. Anyway, that human is already frightened and stupid, it can kill each other without looking at it. But what awaits it is the sharp Longyan knife. From a distance, you can see Subai recoil towards the demonized rhino, and a sliding shovel comes under the belly of the demonized rhino. The Longyan saber in his hand went up. It is not difficult for the silver dragon knife to cut through the thick skin of the demonized rhinoceros. The demonized rhino sent himself to a dead end. Subai broke open the belly of the demonized rhino with no effort. The enchanted rhino felt the tearing sensation in his abdomen, but he couldn't stop. Under the action of inertia, it rushed forward all the way, and its internal organs also flowed to the ground. When the huge corpse stopped, it was empty. Subai jumped up from the ground, shaking off the blood on the blade. Then took a few pictures of the scene. In the future, when he drinks and brags with others, he can tell about his glorious record. How can ordinary people do it to kill such a large demonized rhino with a sliding shovel? But the battle is far from over. The enchanted rhino hangs up, and the enchanted monkey reappears. They don't know how to write the word fear. On the contrary, the smell of blood in the air will only make them fierce. Subai is naturally doing good things to the end and sending them back to their hometown. More than a dozen demonized monkeys were killed, and the battle finally came to an end temporarily. No other monsters appeared in the field of vision. Subai kept moving, transporting the bodies of these monsters back to his island. It can be sold to Shen Qingling in the future, which can be regarded as additional income. With Subai's power, even a demonized iron rhino can carry it around. When he finished moving the monster corpse and walked through the teleportation tunnel, it felt like he was locked. That kind of pressure can be clearly felt even if it is far away. The answer is obvious, there are indeed bronze-level monsters on this enchanted island. The good news is that there is only one. Nor did Subai feel powerless to resist. Can hit. But Subai didn't take the initiative to look for it. He couldn't get too far from the passage. If the hometown is stolen by monsters, the fun will be great. The current situation is to see who can hold their breath first. The advantage is on Subai's side. It is difficult for these monsters affected by demonic energy to suppress their ferocity. The opposite will show up first. Time passed by minute. During this period, several demonized monkeys also appeared, trying to lead Subai away from the passage. Naturally, their little tricks won't work. Subai continued to wait. Just to let Xiao Flash recover his stamina. After half an hour, a stench wafted in the wind. There was also a hissing sound. A giant snake the size of a bucket swam out of the woods, spitting out letters, and looked at Subai with greedy eyes. This human being has a very strong vitality and can make it a full meal. Chapter 38. Subai has never seen such a big snake. The part that swims out of the woods is already 5 or 6 meters long. Calculated, the overall length is definitely more than 10 meters. To be honest, the appearance of such a thing in front of him is a very test of psychological endurance. It's okay if it's just big. The key is that Subai found that this giant snake's eyes seemed to have some light of wisdom in it, and while observing him, he was constantly locking in Zhao Shan's position. With a little dread in his eyes, the giant snake's pupils contracted and blinked at a high frequency. Although it will affect vision to a certain extent, it will not cause instant blindness due to strong light. Subai's heart sank. This giant snake saw the whole process of killing the demonized rhino, and realized the tricky part of the flash. It may not be able to find a complete cracking method, but it can also minimize the loss. Concentrating his mind, Subai observed the properties of the giant snake and pondered a battle plan. Open black lens bracket name close black lens bracket, magical anaconda. Level, bronze lower. Skills, 1. Strangulation 2. Induction enhancement 3. Steel scales 4. Giant strength. Description: the anaconda affected by the magic energy is infinitely powerful, and its scales can ignore the attack of bronze-level weapons. Seeing the skill set and description, Subai's first reaction was that this magic anaconda is the strongest. But immediately saw an opportunity. His Longyan saber is a low-grade silver weapon. Even though the steel scales of the enchanted anaconda can reduce damage, they cannot be completely immune to attacks. As long as it can cause damage, even a god can kill. Of course, this process can be very dangerous. With the size of the demonized anaconda, coupled with the giant power skills, as long as Subai is entangled by it, it is not so easy to break free. This battle will be more difficult than ever. Strobe. With a low voice, Subai clenched the Longyan knife and rushed out. The small flash, which has been on standby for a long time, gathers energy and emits a dazzling light. The demonized anaconda's vertical pupils showed disdain, and then closed their eyes. This stupid human, does he think he can deal with it without dated tricks? Impossible. Although the enchanted anaconda closed its eyesight was normal, and the location of the prey was locked by thermal induction. In the perception of the magic anaconda, it can clearly see that a heat source is rapidly approaching. Speedy. Even beyond the category of black iron creatures. The demonized anaconda felt uneasy for no reason. Immediately annoyed. It even had a feeling of fear when facing a weak human being. Hiss. The enchanted anaconda spit out letters, sensed the subtle fluctuations in the air, and further locked Subai's position. Then he twisted his body suddenly, and his tail was pulled out like a steel whip with a whistling sound. If it hits this time, let alone flesh and blood, the main battle tank will be directly blown up. But before the enchanted anaconda hit the target, it noticed 4 heat sources that suddenly appeared. The human seems to have thrown something out. Boom, boom. The explosion sounded almost at the same time, and the flames shot into the sky. Subai continued to let Xiao Shan use this skill when he knew that the flash had no effect. The purpose was to make the magic anaconda close its eyes. He didn't expect to end the battle with this skill. But it can greatly interfere with the judgment of the demonized anaconda. It is also convenient for him to throw out the popping fruit in the box. Subai had only used the burst fruit once, and he couldn't be sure whether the magic anaconda had any defenses, but he could only take a gamble. It now appears that he succeeded. The burst fruit accurately hit the tail thrown out by the enchanted anaconda, and in the firelight, the scales splashed around. At the same time, the body of the enchanted anaconda froze for a moment, neighing in pain. When the firelight dissipated, Subai was delighted to see that the tail of the demonized anaconda was dripping with blood. It didn't blow up, but it also made the magic anaconda lose a killer. It cannot use its tail as a whip for a short time, and its attack range is greatly reduced. And this is Su Bai's chance. While throwing out the popping fruit, Su Bai is also rushing forward at extreme speed. He had the entry to kill God, and when he ran with all his strength, he immediately pulled out an afterimage. The magic anaconda endured the pain and wanted to lock Su Bai's position. But there had just been an explosion around, and the heat flow was surging, which became Su Bai's best cover. Even a bronze-level demonized anaconda with induction strengthening skills could not accurately target Su Bai in such a chaotic situation. Compared with the demonized anaconda, Su Bai's body is not enough to look at. At this moment, it became his advantage. The enchanted anaconda twisted frantically, trying to intercept Su Bai, but to no avail. Su Bai rushed forward and swung the dragon blade in his hand a dozen times in an instant. The steel scales, which are immune to bronze-level weapons, are a little weak when facing the dragon yin knife. Scale fragments, flesh and blood flying. Su Bai opened a big hole in the body of the demonized anaconda in an instant, and he could even see the bones beneath the flesh. But immediately, Su Bai flew back. He knows he can't be greedy. With the size and vitality of the demonized anaconda, it is impossible for him to kill it with one blow. Boom. As soon as Su Bai retreated, the snake head of the demonized anaconda smashed over. It dug a big hole in the ground. If Su Bai stayed where he was, he would definitely be pierced by snake teeth. The 1-meter-long snake's fangs could kill Su Bai on the spot without the need for poison. The magic anaconda knew by its taste that it did not bite Su Bai, and endured the pain of its tail, and slapped it horizontally. However, his strength and speed were greatly reduced, and he was easily dodged by Su Bai. Not only did he dodge it, but he also slashed twice with the Longyan knife. The demonized anaconda hissed in anger, raised his head and bit it from the side. Then he was slashed twice by Su Bai, almost putting his eyeballs in. The magic anaconda was a little stunned. Come on, who is the bronze class? The energy fluctuations of this human being in front of him are obviously only at the black iron intermediate level, so why are they pressing it from beginning to end? This puts its face to wear. As the king of monsters on the enchanted island, it also has to save face. The demonized anaconda now only hates that he has not evolved long-range skills, otherwise he would have beaten and eaten this human long ago. Now, we can only continue to twist the body to attack. It's just that after experiencing the sharpness of the Longyan saber firsthand, the enchanted anaconda couldn't let go. The situation slowly tilted towards Su Bai. But he didn't take it lightly. This demonized anaconda is also a bronze-level monster anyway, who knows what killer it will be. There is a saying that you are afraid of what will come. After fighting off another attack from the demonic anaconda, Su Bai saw the serpent raise its head and hiss. This kind of sound had never happened before. Squeak. The demonized monkey rushed out of the woods, his eyes were red, and he looked like he was losing his mind. Su Bai reacted immediately. This demonized anaconda with thick eyebrows and big eyes actually shakes people, no, shakes monkeys. Chapter 39. On this island, the demonized anaconda is in an absolute dominant position. It's the boss here, and the demonized monkey seeks a life under its hands, and it must be surrendered to it. This is normal. It's just that the demonized monkey rushing over now is irrational, which makes Su Bai think that there may be another hidden meaning in it. It is the neighing sound of the enchanted anaconda that has a hypnotic effect. Or is it that monsters infected with demonic energy have a strict internal relationship? Su Bai felt that there was a lot of articles in it. It's a pity he doesn't have time to study it in detail now. The 7 demonized monkeys were divided into 2 groups and threw stones from different directions. Only the demonized monkey, that Su Bai is not afraid. But the magic anaconda was staring at him, and his actions were greatly restricted. He must always ensure that he has spare energy and enough reaction space. Otherwise, the demonized anaconda rushes over, and things will be difficult to turn around. The stones thrown by the demonized monkeys are not small, generally the size of fists, and the speed is very fast. And Su Bai still has no good way to take them. He rushed twice just now, trying to kill the demonized monkey. But they were all intercepted by the demonized anaconda. Seeing that this was not the way to go, Su Bai suddenly had a flash of inspiration and looked at the Longyan sword in his hand. A bold idea came to his mind. Call out. Another stone came flying. This time, Subai did not choose to dodge. There was a little excitement in the eyes of the demonized anaconda. Is this human being exhausted? Too bad it was too happy. The reason why Subai didn't hide was that he wanted to test out a new combat plan. The Longyan sword in his hand has a certain toughness. And the stones thrown by the demonized monkey were quite round. This triggered his instinct as a native of the Dragon Kingdom. This thing may be used to play table tennis. State. In the crisp sound, the high-speed flying stones flew out diagonally. The demonized monkey in the other direction was waving its arms to attack, and suddenly saw a small black dot appear in the field of vision. Then I felt a chill in my head, and I fell straight to the ground and died violently. Its skull was blown away, and its brains were mushy. With such a fatal injury, even a living creature cannot survive. No matter how brave the demonized monkey is, it is still flesh and blood, and it hangs up very simply and decisively. Hiss. The enchanted anaconda's pupils shrank, and its tail twitched uneasily. What is the principle? How the demonized monkey's attack not only did not hurt the human, but also killed the demonized monkey next to him. The demonized monkey who threw the stone was also confused. Subai is happy. Well, the long-range attacks of these demonized monkeys are no longer a threat to him. Instead, it will become his help, helping him to quickly clear the threat. The enchanted anaconda neighed again, urging the enchanted monkey to continue attacking. It must have been an accident just now. The remaining 6 demonized monkeys attacked at the same time, and the flight paths of the stones were staggered. But Subai never thought of hitting back 6 stones in one go. While dodging, the target was selected, and the Longyan sword was drawn horizontally, knocking a stone into the air again. Thump. Another demonized monkey was hit in the head, and the body fell into the dust. The demonized anaconda saw clearly this time, and neighed again. The demonized monkey was also very obedient, stopped throwing stones, and rushed forward with a howling, ready to beat Subai to death with his fists. But this is obviously not realistic. Even Subai would love to see. When it comes to melee combat, these demonized monkeys are here to deliver food. When the angry demonized anaconda reacted, the 5 demonized monkeys had turned into pieces and fell into a pool of blood. The battle situation turned into a duel between Subai and the demonized anaconda. However, the magic anaconda is full of confidence. Its tail wound has initially healed, and its combat power has recovered a lot. And although this human killed the demonized monkey, he must have consumed a lot of physical strength. Victory must belong to it. The body of the demonized anaconda twisted, and a surging force erupted, rushing straight in with a fishy wind. Subai didn't have time to take a breath, so he could only fight forward with the Longyan sword in his hand. This time, the demonized anaconda immediately felt that he could do it. The offensive of this human being is not as sharp as before. He is already at the end of the shot and will soon perish. Subai fought and retreated, heading towards the teleportation channel. Seeing this situation, the demonized anaconda became more and more certain of its own judgment. This human wants to escape. But where can he escape? Although the enchanted anaconda doesn't know the principle of the transmission channel, it can also feel that the shape of the channel is very stable. Even if the opponent flees back, it can still pursue the victory. It's time to eat again. The demonized anaconda showed confidence, and the offensive became more and more fierce. And Subai's resistance became difficult. After all, his physical strength has its limit. Strobe. Subai snorted again. Xiao Flash released light, then fell into a weak state, was hidden in his pocket by Subai, and jumped into the teleportation channel with him, returning to his island. Although the magic anaconda closed its eyes, it also saw the whole process through thermal induction. When his vision recovered a little, he immediately rushed into the passage. As soon as the magic anaconda crossed the passage, it felt empty. Wow! The magic anaconda fell into the huge quagmire. Earth Spirit, harden the soil. Subai's voice sounded beside him. The enchanted anaconda just wanted to swim, but found that the surrounding mud seemed to have endless resistance, making it unable to perform. This is no ordinary mud, it contains the power of the earth element. It's the Earth Spirit. The demonized anaconda shook his head angrily, preparing to find the culprit. It found. More than a dozen meters away, the Earth Spirit and its 3 divisions are using their abilities to harden the soil. The demonized anaconda twisted its body and collapsed the surrounding soil. But the new dirt came up again. The two sides were at a stalemate, and the earth spirit began to become a little weak. But the state of the demonized anaconda was not much better, and the extent of struggle was greatly reduced. Su Bai clenched the Longyan sword tightly, rushed out from the side, and slashed wildly on the back of the enchanted anaconda. The steel scales were shattered, and flesh and blood flew. Soon, Su Bai saw the beating heart. The demonized anaconda sensed the crisis and struggled desperately. But in the end it was futile. The Longyan knife penetrated deep into the heart, then bowed left and right, and chopped the huge heart into pieces. The enchanted anaconda raised its head high and fell to the ground weakly. Its strength was exhausted, and only instinctive twitches remained. Su Bai let the earth spirit continue to harden the soil, while he was holding the dragon sword and backed up, so as not to deceive the anaconda. After a while, the demonized anaconda didn't have any breath. This bronze-ranked giant snake was beheaded by the black iron-ranked Su Bai, and he died very suffocatingly. Chapter 40. Su Bai mashed the brains of the enchanted anaconda into a paste with the dragon yin knife, completely eliminating the possibility of it deceiving the corpse. After that, Su Bai let out a long breath. Finally won. At the last moment, he pretended to be defeated and fled back to the teleportation channel, just to introduce the demonized anaconda into the prepared quagmire. As early as when the demonized anaconda appeared, Su Bai let the left-behind earth spirits and water spirits cooperate with each other, creating a huge quagmire at the entrance of the passage. This is not difficult. The difficulty is how to get the demonized anaconda to chase after him. To this end, Su Bai fought with the magic anaconda for a long time, creating the illusion of exhaustion, letting him relax his vigilance, and finally fall into the trap. With the obstruction of the quagmire, the mobility of the demonized anaconda was limited by most. Su Bai also took advantage of the situation to hit the snake and hit 7 inches, shattering the heart of the enchanted anaconda. It's not that Su Bai can't defeat the enchanted anaconda head-on. His physical strength is still sufficient, and he has been playing, and in the end the victory is still his. But the problem is that the transmission channel can only last for 3 hours. It took nearly an hour to wait for the demonized anaconda to appear and clean up the original demonized monkey. Su Bai's victory would be meaningless if it dragged on. He went to enchant the island to find special plants, not to kill a giant bronze-level snake. Of course, the value of this magic anaconda is definitely not low. But how to compare to those special plants? That's why Su Bai resorted to this trick and used the quagmire to kill the enchanted anaconda. Su Bai estimated the remaining time, and there was still about an hour and a half, and the time was very tight. Let the earth spirit rest in place to recover energy. Su Bai took the dragon sword and passed through the passage again, returning to the enchanted island. He must first determine what high-value special plants are on the enchanted island, and then let the earth spirit transport it back. Come again this time, Su Bai will be very relaxed. All the monsters on the island have been killed by him. According to Su Bai's observations, the island is small. It can't afford to support too many monsters. A bronze-level demonized anaconda, plus more than 20 demonized monkeys, is estimated to be the limit. In the previous battle, the demonized anaconda called out the demonized monkeys. At this time, Su Bai was walking on this enchanted island, without worrying about being attacked. Don't worry about your island being attacked. Going out a few dozen meters, Su Bai stopped, with a happy expression on his face. A clump of special plants, there are a dozen or so, with a height of 50 or 60 centimeters, the blood-red flowers bloom in the wind. Snake eye flower. Black iron top grade, the fruit looks like a snake eye, highly poisonous, and mostly grows in places where snakes are infested. Su Bai observed it, and determined that these snake eyes were about to bear fruit, and couldn't help but feel more and more satisfied. Although the fruit of the snake eye is highly poisonous. But it's always useful. It's really not good. Extracting the toxins and making a little poison arrows is quite beneficial for the follow-up battle. After marking the snake eyes, Su Bai moved on. Perhaps because this enchanted island is the habitat of enchanted anacondas, the second special plant discovered by Su Bai is also poisonous. Heartbroken grass. Middle-grade black iron, the rhizome is highly poisonous. Su Bai said in his heart that this was the rhythm that would make him a Breaking Bad master, and hoped that there would be new discoveries in the future. Thinking of this, Subai decisively called out to the gem cat. Almost forgot about this little guy. Although the gem cat was reluctant to set foot on the enchanted island, it still listened to Subai's instructions, passed through the passage, and ran over quickly. When passing by Snake Dazzlings, the gem cat also spared a circle, with a look of resistance. Subai reached out and touched the gem cat's head, and said, "Go on a treasure hunt." The gem cat raised its small head, sniffed in the air with its nose, and then went in a certain direction. Subai followed immediately. Soon, the gem cat stopped, meowing at the big trees in front of you. Dark underworld tree. Bronze top grade, the fruit can enhance the anti-poison ability, and at the same time has a chance to awaken the E-level poison system. In the field of vision, there are a full 6 dark trees. The height is basically in the early 10 meters, which is a standard adult plant. There are many green fruits hanging on the branches, and it will not take long for them to ripen. However, Subai also found traces of picking. I think it was those demonized monkeys before, who picked and ate the ripe fruit. At the same time of being full, you can also obtain anti-toxicity, and you can survive better on this enchanted island. These 6 dark trees are of great value. The most important thing is to save Subai a lot of training time. This is already an adult plant that can produce stably. Go to the magic field and take care of it with Xiaolu. I think the first batch of dark fruits will mature within a few days. Good stuff. This is definitely good stuff. Asked about the status of the earth spirit, and learned that it had basically recovered, Subai immediately let it come with 3 splinter bodies. Snake eye flower and heartbroken grass can be ignored, but these 6 dark trees must be brought back to the island. The earth spirit and the split body came quickly and started work in an orderly manner. And the gem cat stretched out its claws and pulled Subai's trouser legs, meowing in the distance. Subai was instantly overjoyed. Incredibly rewarding. As he moved forward, Subai found that the ground became slippery and covered with a little slime. At the same time, the air also became smelly. The gem cat jumped to Subai's shoulder, meowed twice, and raised its paw to point forward. Subai immediately understood the meaning. In front of it is the nest of the demonized anaconda, and there is something in it that makes the gem cat very concerned. But the ground is too dirty, and the gem cat doesn't want to go. Subai smiled and patted the gem cat's head. The little guy is quite clean. Going forward in the direction the gem cat pointed, Subai saw a huge cave. Just looking at the size of the hole, you can tell that this must be the nest of the magic anaconda. Enchanted monkeys can't use such a big place. The smell was unpleasant, but according to Subai's perception, there was no life in the cave. The cave is not deep, and standing at the entrance of the cave can clearly see the whole picture inside. In addition to the shed snake skin, there are some bones. There are demonized monkeys, and there are others. Subai is estimated to be a monster that originally lived on this island, but was eaten by demonized anacondas one after another. And it also grew slowly and was promoted to the bronze level. Only bad luck. Subai came. Restraining his mind, Subai's eyes wandered around the cave, and he soon discovered something. In the central area of the cave, where the magic anaconda rests, there is a black stone. The size of the grinding disc, the surface is black. Just by looking at this look, you can tell that it's not an ordinary thing. Yushi. Low-grade silver, stone impregnated with demonic energy, very rare. Good guy, a silver-grade stone. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.